She said, "You're just a roommate who pays bills." I said, "Perfect," and started dating. Why is she the one crying now? My name is Ethan Vale, and I'm a paramedic. I work night shifts at County General, which means I see people at their worst. Trauma, overdoses, cardiac arrests. You learn to stay calm when everything around you is chaos. You learn to document everything, because in my line of work, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. Chain of custody matters. Timestamps matter. Facts matter. I thought those skills only applied to my job. I was wrong. 3 weeks ago, my girlfriend Mira came home from her shift at the physical therapy clinic and dropped a bomb on me in our kitchen. We'd been together for 4 years, living together for 2. I was pouring coffee when she said it. "Ethan, I don't see you as a boyfriend anymore." I stopped mid-pour, set the pot down carefully, turned to face her. "Okay," I said. "What do you see me as?" She folded her arms, leaning against the counter like she'd rehearsed this. Maybe she had. "Honestly, just a roommate who pays bills?" The words hung in the air between us. I waited for her to soften it, to say she didn't mean it that way. She didn't. Her face was set, almost defiant. She wanted a reaction. She wanted me to beg, to ask what I'd done wrong, to promise I'd change. I didn't give her that. "Perfect," I said. She blinked. "What?" "Perfect. If that's what you want, that's what you'll get." Her mouth opened slightly, like she was trying to recalibrate. This wasn't the script she'd expected. "What does that mean?" she asked. "It means starting tomorrow, we're roommates. A 50-50 on rent, 50-50 on utilities, separate groceries, separate lives." Her eyes narrowed. "You're being ridiculous." "No," I said calmly. "I'm being a roommate. That's what you wanted, right?" I walked past her to the bedroom. She followed me, her voice rising. "Ethan, I didn't mean—" "You meant it," I said, opening the closet and pulling out a duffel bag. "And that's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to respect your decision." I started moving my clothes to the guest room. Shirts, jeans, socks. She stood in the doorway, watching me with something between confusion and anger. "This is insane," she said. "You're acting like a child." I didn't respond. I just kept moving my things, one armful at a time. When I was done, I set up my laptop on the small desk in the guest room and opened a spreadsheet. Rent, utilities, internet, groceries for the past 2 months. I split everything down the middle and sent her a Venmo request. She got the notification immediately. I heard her phone buzz in the other room. "Are you serious?" she shouted. I didn't answer. I closed the door and locked it. The next morning, I woke up at 6. Mira was still asleep. I went to the kitchen, made coffee in my own mug, one I'd bought years ago, and left hers in the cabinet. I checked my phone. She'd paid the Venmo request at 2 a.m. No message. Just the payment. Good. We were on the same page now. I went to the grocery store before my shift and bought exactly what I needed for the week. Chicken breasts, rice, vegetables, protein bars. I labeled a shelf in the fridge with a piece of tape. Ethan. Then I labeled another shelf, Mira. I put my groceries on my shelf and left hers empty. When I got home from my shift that night, she was sitting on the couch with a glass of wine, staring at the fridge. "You labeled the shelves," she said. It wasn't a question. "Roommates don't share groceries," I said, "unless they split the cost ahead of time." "Did you want to split groceries?" Her jaw tightened. "This is petty." "It's practical," I said. "You're an adult. You can buy your own food." She stood up, grabbed her purse, and left without another word. I heard her car peel out of the parking lot. I didn't care. I heated up my meal prep, ate in silence, and went to bed. The next day, I went to the credit union during my lunch break. The clerk was a middle-aged woman named Sandra who'd helped me open the account 2 years ago. "I need to request a separation on a joint account," I said, sliding my ID across the counter. Sandra's face softened with concern. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Are you two breaking up?" "Not exactly," I said. "We're transitioning to a roommate arrangement. I just want to make sure our finances are separate going forward." She nodded slowly, pulling up my account. "I can start the process. It'll take about a week to finalize. In the meantime, I'd recommend opening a new individual account and transferring your direct deposit." "Let's do that," I said. She printed out the forms. I signed them, took a photo of the paperwork with my phone, timestamp visible, and thanked her. When I got back to my car, I saved the photo in a folder on my cloud storage labeled simply documentation. I didn't know why I was doing it yet. Instinct, maybe. The same instinct that makes me photograph accident scenes before the cops arrive. The same instinct that makes me log every medication I administer, every refusal of treatment, every detail that might matter later. Something about this didn't feel right. Mira had been distant for weeks, maybe months. I'd noticed it but hadn't pushed. I figured she was stressed about work. She'd mentioned her manager a few times, Trevor something, said he was demanding but fair, said he was helping her get certified in some new therapy techniques. I hadn't thought much of it. But now, in hindsight, I remembered the way she smiled when she talked about him, the way she checked her phone constantly and angled the screen away from me, the way she started going to the gym at odd hours, saying she needed to work on her own rehab after a shoulder injury I'd never seen. Maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I was overthinking it. Or maybe I was finally paying attention. On Friday night, I had a date. Her name was Lauren, a nurse from the ER. We'd worked a few shifts together, and she'd asked if I wanted to grab dinner. I said yes. It wasn't serious. It was just dinner. But I mentioned it to Mira that morning, casually, while I was making coffee. "I'm going out tonight," I said. "I'll be back late." She looked up from her phone. "Out where?" "Dinner, with a friend." Her eyes narrowed. "What friend?" "Just someone from work," I said. "Does it matter? Roommates don't need to check in with each other." Her face went pale, then red. "You're going on a date." "I'm going to dinner," I said evenly. "What I do with my free time is my business, just like what you do with yours is yours." She stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "This is ridiculous, Ethan. You're doing this to hurt me." "I'm doing this because you told me you see me as a roommate," I said. "Roommates date other people. That's how it works." She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. She grabbed her keys and left for work without another word. I finished my coffee in silence. The date with Lauren was nice. We went to a small Italian place downtown, talked about work, about terrible hospital coffee, about the weird calls we'd both run. She laughed easily. She didn't check her phone every 5 minutes. It was comfortable. Halfway through dinner, my phone buzzed. Then again. I glanced at the screen. Mira. "Where are you?" "Are you really on a date?" "This is so disrespectful, Ethan. You're doing this to hurt me. We need to talk when you get home." 12 messages in 2 hours. I took a screenshot of each one, timestamps visible. Then I silenced my phone and put it face down on the table. "Everything okay?" Lauren asked. "Just my roommate," I said. "She'll be fine." Lauren raised an eyebrow but didn't push. We finished dinner, walked around the block, and I drove her home. She thanked me for a nice evening. I told her I'd see her at work. When I got back to the apartment, it was almost midnight. Mira was sitting in the living room, still dressed, arms crossed. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" I asked, hanging my keys on the hook. "About this," she said, gesturing vaguely. "About you going on dates while we're still living together." "We're roommates," I said. "You made that clear. Roommates date. If that bothers you, maybe you should reconsider what you actually want." Her face twisted. "You're rubbing this in my face." "I'm living my life," I said. "If that feels like an attack, that's on you." I walked past her to the guest room and closed the door. She didn't follow. I heard her pacing in the living room for a while, then the sound of her bedroom door slamming. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed one more time. A text from my buddy Kyle, my partner on the ambulance. "Saw your girl at the gym yesterday. She was with some tall guy. Looked pretty close. Just thought you should know." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I opened my documentation folder and started a new note. I didn't respond to Kyle's text that night. I just saved a screenshot and added it to the folder. Then I set my phone on the nightstand and forced myself to sleep. When you work nights, you learn to compartmentalize. You can't let one call bleed into the next, or you'll lose your mind. Same principle applied here. The next morning, Mira avoided me entirely. I heard her moving around the apartment early, then the front door closing before 7. I made my coffee, ate breakfast at the small desk in the guest room, and checked my bank account. The credit union had processed the separation faster than expected. My direct deposit was already rerouted to the new individual account. Good. One less thing tied to her. I had the weekend off, which was rare. Most paramedics work rotating shifts, but I'd traded with someone to get Saturday and Sunday free. I spent Saturday cleaning my space, organizing my things, and doing laundry. Mira came home around noon, saw me folding clothes in the guest room, and walked past without a word. Sunday morning, I met Kyle for breakfast at a diner near the station. He's been my partner for 3 years. Solid guy, doesn't gossip, doesn't ask questions unless something's really wrong. But when I sat down across from him, he gave me a look. "You good?" he asked. "Fine," I said. "Thanks for the heads up the other day." He shrugged. Wasn't sure if I should say anything, but if it were me, I'd want to know. Tell me what you saw, I said. Kyle poured syrup on his pancakes, taking his time. I was at the clinic gym Thursday afternoon, had a shoulder thing, went in for a quick session, saw Mira in the rehab corner with some guy. Tall, maybe late 30s, wearing a clinic badge. They were doing exercises together, but it didn't look professional. He kept touching her lower back, adjusting her form. She was laughing. A lot. You see him before? I asked. Nah, but he seemed comfortable, like he worked there. I filed that away. Anything else? Just that I saw them twice, Kyle said. Different days, same vibe. I didn't think much of it the first time. Second time felt off. I nodded slowly. Appreciate it. You two breaking up? He asked. We're roommates now, I said. Her choice, Kyle snorted. That's cold, man. It is what it is. We finished breakfast and I went home. Mira's car wasn't in the lot, which meant she was out somewhere. I sat on the couch and opened our shared photo cloud. I hadn't checked it in weeks. We'd set it up a year ago to automatically back up photos from both our phones, convenient for sharing trips and memories. I scrolled back through the past 2 months. Most of my photos were work-related or random shots of the city. Hers were more frequent. Brunch plates, latte art, sunset photos, nothing suspicious at first glance. But then I noticed something. 3 weekends ago, she'd taken a photo at a hiking trail. Beautiful view. Golden hour lighting. The geotag said Pine Ridge Summit, about 40 miles outside the city. I remembered that weekend. She told me she was working a double shift to cover for a coworker. I opened a browser and searched Pine Ridge Summit on social media. Public post only, filtered by date. Third result down, a photo from the same location, same day, same time of day, based on the light. Posted by someone named Trevor Ashford. His profile was semi-private, but the post was public. He'd tagged the location and written, "Needed this. Fresh air fixes everything." I took a screenshot of both photos side by side. Same trail marker visible in the background. Same angle of the valley below. Then I kept scrolling through Mira's photos. 2 weeks ago, a brunch plate at some upscale cafe downtown. She'd told me she was meeting her friend Marissa that Sunday. I searched the cafe's geotag, found another post from Trevor Ashford. Same cafe, same Sunday, same time window. Different table, but the floor tiles in the background matched. I sat back, staring at my phone. She wasn't just distant, she was lying. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I just kept documenting. I downloaded every relevant photo from the cloud and saved them in the folder. I cross-referenced her alibis against Trevor's public posts. 5 matches in 2 months. Every time she'd said she was working late or meeting a friend, there was a corresponding post from him in the same place, same time. Either it was an incredible coincidence, or she was spending a lot of time with her manager and lying about it. I was betting on the latter. Monday morning, I woke up to a bank notification on my phone. A charge on our shared rideshare account, $27.50. The account was supposed to be closed, but apparently it was still linked to her profile pending the final separation. I opened the app and logged in. The ride was from Friday night, 11:45 p.m. Pickup, our apartment complex. Drop-off, an address I didn't recognize. I copied the address and searched it. Luxury condo building, 3 miles from the clinic. I opened the building's website. They had a directory, but it required a resident login. I sat there for a minute, thinking. Then I opened a notes app and typed, Friday 11:45 p.m. Mira took rideshare to address. Claimed she went to Marissa's for wine. Then I texted Marissa. Hey, thanks for hosting Mira Friday night. She needed that. I didn't expect an honest answer. But Marissa was straightforward, sometimes to a fault. Her reply came back 10 minutes later. What? I didn't see her Friday. I was teaching a late yoga class until 10, then went straight home. Is she okay? I stared at the message. There it was. I took a screenshot, saved it next to the rideshare receipt, and didn't respond to Marissa. Let her wonder. Let Mira scramble if Marissa asked her about it. I went to work that night like nothing had happened. Ran 3 calls, chest pain, fall injury, psych transport. Came home at 6 a.m. and found Mira in the kitchen, making tea. Where'd you go Friday night? I asked casually, pouring myself coffee. She didn't look up. Marissa's. I told you. Right, I said. How was that? Fine. We just talked. Good, I said. Glad you have friends to vent to. She finally looked at me, eyes narrowed. Why are you asking? Just making conversation, I said. Roommates do that, right? Her jaw tightened, but she didn't say anything. She took her tea and went to her room. I sat at the kitchen table and opened my phone. Added another entry to my notes. Mira lied about Friday, claimed Marissa's house. Marissa confirms she was teaching class. I was building a pattern now, not because I wanted to hurt her, not because I was angry. I just needed to know the truth. And if she was going to lie to my face, I was going to document every single one. Tuesday night, I came home from my shift and heard Mira on the phone in her bedroom. The door was closed, but the walls in our apartment are thin. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I was just walking past to get to the guest room. But I heard her say something that stopped me cold. He's just being difficult. It's harassment, honestly. I froze. Harassment? I stood there, listening. No, I'm serious. He's tracking everything I do. It's controlling. A pause. I know. I just need to be smart about this. If he keeps pushing, I might need to document it. Another pause. Thanks, Trevor. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Trevor. I walked into the guest room, closed the door quietly, and opened my notes app. Typed exactly what I'd heard, word for word, with the time and date. He's just being difficult. It's harassment, honestly. She was setting a narrative, and she was doing it with him. 2 days later, we had another argument. I'd mentioned in passing that I was looking at lease renewal options and that I might want to end our joint lease early and move out. It was a reasonable statement. We were roommates now. Roommates move out. But Mira exploded. You're just trying to control everything, she shouted. You're making this impossible on purpose. I'm making what impossible? I asked calmly. This. Living here. You're harassing me, Ethan. There it was again. That word. How am I harassing you? I asked. I've barely spoken to you in 2 weeks. You're tracking my spending. You're interrogating me. I asked you one question about where you went Friday, I said. That's not interrogation. That's a conversation. She stared at me, breathing hard. Then she said, almost word for word what I'd heard on the phone. You're just being difficult. I didn't react. I just nodded and said, okay. Then I went to my room and wrote it down. Same phrase, same tone. Twice now, 2 days apart. She was being coached. Friday, I called my sister Jenna. She's a corporate compliance officer, spends her days investigating fraud, policy violations, internal misconduct. She's clinical, methodical, and doesn't let emotions cloud her judgment. I told her everything. The roommate declaration, the jealousy after I started dating, the photos, the rideshare receipt, the lies, the repeated phrase. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. She's building a counter-narrative, Jenna said. Classic move. If you're documenting her behavior, she's going to claim you're obsessive or controlling. If you ask her questions, she'll call it harassment. It's preemptive defense. Why would she need a defense? I asked. Because she knows you're onto something, Jenna said, and she's panicking. What do I do? Keep documenting, she said. But stay neutral. Don't accuse, don't interrogate, don't react. Just let her keep lying. Every lie creates evidence. And if she escalates to filing a formal complaint, harassment, domestic issue, whatever, you need to have ironclad proof that you've been civil and factual the entire time. She already threatened it, I said. She told someone I'm harassing her. Then you need to get ahead of it, Jenna said. Document everything. Emails, texts, receipts, timelines. If she tries to flip this on you, you need to be able to show exactly what happened, when and why. I'm already doing that, I said. Good, Jenna said. Don't stop. That weekend, I emailed the apartment leasing office. Kept it short, professional, factual. Hi, Lila. I'd like to schedule a time to discuss lease separation options. No safety concerns, just financial separation per our mutual roommate arrangement. Let me know when you're available. Thanks, Ethan. Lila responded Monday morning. Hi, Ethan. I can meet with you Thursday at 2 p.m. Let me know if that works. I confirmed. Wednesday night, Mira saw the email confirmation on my laptop screen. I hadn't hidden it. Roommates don't hide lease discussions. You're meeting with the leasing office? She asked. Yeah, I said. Just talking about options. I'm coming with you, she said. I looked at her. You don't need to. I'm coming, she said again, firmly. Okay, I said. I didn't argue. I just forwarded the confirmation email to myself and saved a screenshot, because I had a feeling Thursday was going to be interesting. Thursday arrived cold and gray. I worked a night shift Wednesday into Thursday morning, got home at 7, slept until noon, and woke up with that tight feeling in my chest that comes before something breaks open. I showered, dressed in clean jeans and a button-down, and made coffee. Mira was already awake, sitting on the couch, scrolling her phone. She'd dressed carefully too, blazer, nice jeans, makeup, like she was going to a job interview, not a lease office meeting. "Ready?" I asked at 1:45. She stood without answering and grabbed her purse. We drove separately. I got there first, parked, and waited in the lobby. Lila was behind the desk sorting paperwork. She's in her early 40s, efficient and no nonsense. I've always liked that about her. She doesn't do drama. "Ethan," she said, smiling. "Come on back." "My roommate's coming too," I said. "She should be here any second." Lila's smile tightened slightly, but she nodded. "Of course." Mira walked in 2 minutes later. Lila gestured us into her office, a small room with a desk, 3 chairs, and a filing cabinet. We sat. Lila folded her hands on the desk. "So," she said, "you mentioned lease separation options. What are you thinking?" "We've transitioned to a roommate arrangement," I said evenly. "We'd like to explore ending the joint lease early or separating financial responsibility if one of us wants to stay." Lila nodded, pulling up our file on her computer. "Okay. The lease runs through August. Early termination would require 60 days' notice and a fee, or you could sublet with approval. Alternatively, one of you could assume the lease solo if the other moves out and passes a credit check." "That works," I said. "I just wanted to know the options." Mira shifted in her seat. I could feel her tension radiating. "Is everything okay between you two?" Lila asked carefully. "No safety concerns or disputes I should know about?" "No safety concerns," I said. I don't feel safe," Mira said suddenly. Lila's eyes snapped to her. I went very still. "Can you explain?" Lila asked. Mira's voice trembled. "He's been tracking everything I do, watching me, interrogating me. I feel like I can't breathe in my own home." I didn't react. I just sat there, hands on my knees, face neutral. Lila looked at me. "Ethan?" "I haven't tracked anything," I said quietly. "I asked her one question last week about where she went on a Friday night. That's it. We've barely spoken in 2 weeks." "That's not true," Mira said, her voice rising. "You've been going through my things. You're controlling the money. You're making this impossible." "We separated finances because you told me I'm just a roommate who pays bills," I said. "I took you at your word. Roommates split expenses. That's what we did." Lila held up a hand. "Okay, let's take a step back. Mira, do you have specific incidents you want to report? Dates, times, examples?" Mira opened her mouth, then closed it. I feel unsafe." "But no specific incidents?" Lila pressed gently. Mira looked at me, then back at Lila. He's building a case against me. I can feel it." I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder, set it on the desk. "What's that?" Mira asked sharply. "Documentation," I said. I opened it and slid 3 pages across to Lila. Bank account separation request, dated 2 weeks ago. Text messages where I asked about her Friday night plans. 1 question, no follow-up. And the email I sent you, Lila, requesting this meeting. All civil, all factual. Lila scanned the pages. Her face remained neutral, but I saw her shoulders relax slightly. Mira stared at the folder like it was a bomb. "Ethan," Lila said slowly, "why did you bring this?" "Because I wanted to be clear about what's actually happened," I said. Mira said I'm harassing her. "I wanted you to see that I've been respectful and straightforward. If she feels uncomfortable, I understand. But I haven't done anything wrong." Lila looked at Mira. "Do you want to add anything?" Mira's hands were shaking. He's manipulating this. He's making himself look good on paper, but I'm what?" I asked quietly. She didn't answer. Lila closed the folder and handed it back to me. "I'm going to log this conversation in your file. Both of your concerns are noted. Ethan, your request for lease options is reasonable. Mira, if you have specific safety concerns, I can provide resources. But right now, I don't see grounds to alter the lease outside normal procedures." "That's it," Mira said. "You're just going to take his side?" "I'm not taking sides," Lila said firmly. "I'm documenting what was said. If either of you wants to pursue early termination or a lease transfer, we can move forward with that process. But I need specific requests, not general complaints." Mira stood abruptly. "This is unbelievable." She walked out without another word. Lila and I sat in silence for a moment. "I'm sorry about that," I said. "It's fine," Lila said. "For what it's worth, your documentation was smart. If she tries to escalate this formally, you'll need that." "I figured," I said. She handed me a pamphlet about lease termination options. "Let me know what you decide." I thanked her and left. When I got back to the apartment, Mira's car was already there. I walked in expecting another confrontation, but she was in her room with the door closed. I went to the guest room, sat down, and opened my notes. Typed, "Lease office meeting, day 19. Mira claimed she feels unsafe and accused me of harassment. Provided no specific incidents or dates when asked. Lila reviewed my documentation and noted both concerns in file. Mira left without resolution." Then I saved the pamphlet Lila gave me and took a photo of it beside my phone's timestamp. My phone buzzed. Jenna. "How'd it go?" "She tried to flip it," I texted back. Said I'm harassing her. I showed the leasing agent my documentation. Agent logged it, but said I've been civil. "Good. She's panicking. What's next?" I stared at the message for a long moment. Then I typed, "I think I need to file a complaint." "Against who?" "Her manager." Jenna called immediately. "Explain," she said. I told her about Trevor. The photos, the rideshare receipt, the lies, the coaching. "He's her supervisor?" Jenna asked. "Yeah, clinic office manager. She's a physical therapist there." "That's a policy violation," Jenna said. "Most healthcare facilities have strict rules about supervisor-subordinate relationships. If it's undisclosed, that's grounds for disciplinary action." "How do I prove it?" I asked. "You already have proof," she said. "The photos, the receipts, the lies. You just need to put it in front of the right people." "Who?" "Does the clinic have an ethics hotline?" I pulled up the clinic's website on my laptop, scrolled to the bottom, found a link. "Report a concern. Ethics hotline." "Yeah," I said. "They do?" "Call it," Jenna said. "File an anonymous complaint. Provide the evidence. Let the institution handle it." "And if they don't?" "They will," Jenna said. Healthcare facilities don't mess around with undisclosed relationships between supervisors and subordinates. It's a liability issue. If you have time-stamped proof, they'll open an investigation. "What if it blows back on me?" I asked. "It won't," Jenna said. "You're filing as a concerned party. You don't have to identify yourself. And even if they figure out it's you, you're not doing anything illegal. You're reporting a policy violation with documented evidence." I thought about it. "What do I say?" "Keep it simple," Jenna said. "State the facts. No emotions, no accusations. Just, I have reason to believe there's an undisclosed relationship between a supervisor and a subordinate. Here's the evidence. Let them connect the dots." "Okay," I said. "Do it soon," Jenna said, before she escalates the harassment narrative. We hung up. I sat there for a minute, staring at the ethics hotline link. Then I clicked it. The page had a phone number and an online form. I chose the form, filled it out carefully. Nature of concern. Undisclosed supervisor-subordinate relationship. Potential policy violation. Details. I have documentation suggesting a relationship between Trevor Ashford, office manager, and a subordinate physical therapist. Evidence includes matching travel photos, rideshare receipts, and contradictory alibis. Relationship appears undisclosed per clinic policy. I didn't name Mira. Didn't need to. If they investigated Trevor, they'd figure it out. I attached screenshots, the hiking trail photos side by side, the brunch cafe geotags, the rideshare receipt showing his building address. I redacted my name from the receipt but left the timestamp and destination. Then I hit submit. A confirmation page loaded. "Your complaint has been received. Case ID EC21847. You will receive updates at the email address provided." I screenshotted the confirmation and saved it. Then I closed the laptop and exhaled. It was done. I didn't tell Mira, didn't mention it at all. We moved around the apartment like ghosts for the next 3 days. She left early, came home late. I worked my shifts, came home, slept. We didn't eat together, didn't talk. The apartment felt like a waiting room. Sunday night, my phone buzzed. Email from the clinic ethics hotline. Case ID EC2847. Your complaint has been reviewed and forwarded to the peer review committee. A hearing has been scheduled. You will be notified of the outcome. I stared at the email. They were taking it seriously. Monday morning, I ran into Kyle at the station. He was loading gear into the ambulance. "Hey," he said. "You good?" "Yeah," I said. "Thanks again for the heads up about the gym thing." "No problem," he said. He hesitated, then added, "I saw them again last week. Same vibe. Just thought you should know." "Appreciate it," I said. He nodded and climbed into the driver's seat. I got in on the passenger side and we rolled out on our first call. Chest pain, false alarm, then a fall injury transported, then a psych case that took 3 hours to clear. When I got home Tuesday morning, Mira was in the kitchen. She looked like she hadn't slept. "We need to talk," she said. "About what?" I asked, setting my keys down. "Something happened at work," she said. Her voice was tight. "Someone filed a complaint about me and Trevor." I kept my face blank. "What kind of complaint?" "I don't know," she said. "They won't tell me. But there's a hearing next week. They're calling it a peer review." "That's serious," I said. "I know it was you," she said, her voice rising. "I know you did this." "I didn't file anything about you," I said. Which was technically true. I'd filed about Trevor. "You're destroying me," she said. "You're trying to ruin my career because I don't want to be with you anymore." "I'm not trying to ruin anything," I said. "But if there's a policy violation, that's between you and the clinic." Her face went white. "You bastard." She grabbed her bag and left. I stood there in the kitchen alone, listening to the echo of the door slamming. Then I opened my phone and added one more note. Day 24. Mira confirmed peer review hearing scheduled. She suspects I filed the complaint. I did not confirm or deny. I set the phone down and made coffee. 1 week until the hearing. The week before, the hearing moved like sludge. I kept working my shifts, kept coming home to the silent apartment, kept adding notes to my documentation folder. Mira barely spoke to me. When she did, it was clipped and venomous. Short sentences designed to provoke a reaction I refused to give her. Tuesday night, I got home from a shift at 6 in the morning and found her sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open and papers spread everywhere. Her eyes were red, either from crying or lack of sleep. Maybe both. "What are you doing?" I asked, filling my coffee mug. "Preparing," she said without looking up. "For the hearing?" "What do you think?" she snapped. I didn't answer. I just leaned against the counter and sipped my coffee, watching her. She was making notes on a legal pad, underlining phrases, circling dates, building her defense. I could see Trevor's name written at the top of one page, surrounded by bullet points. "You know what they're going to ask me?" she said suddenly. "No idea." "They're going to ask if I'm in a relationship with him, if it's romantic, if it's disclosed." "And what are you going to say?" She looked up at me, her face hard. "The truth, that we're friends, that we work together, that there's nothing inappropriate." "Okay," I said. "You don't believe me," she said. "It doesn't matter what I believe," I said. "It matters what you can prove." Her jaw clenched. "You're really going to let them destroy me over nothing?" "I'm not doing anything," I said. You're the one being reviewed." She stood abruptly, gathering her papers. "I hope you're proud of yourself." She left the kitchen, slamming her bedroom door behind her. I stood there for a moment, then pulled out my phone and added another note. Day 25. Mira preparing defense for peer review. Claims relationship with Trevor is just friendship. Appears stressed and defensive. Then I went to the guest room and slept. Wednesday evening, my sister Jenna came over. I'd asked her to help me organize the evidence into something coherent, something that could survive scrutiny if Mira tried to flip the narrative again. Jenna showed up with her laptop, a folder of printed templates, and a bottle of wine she didn't plan to open until we were done. We spread everything out on the guest room desk: photos, receipts, screenshots, timelines, text logs. "This is good," Jenna said, scanning through the rideshare receipt. "Bank verified, time-stamped, destination address clear." "She lied about where she went," I said. "Told me she was at her friend Marissa's house. Marissa confirmed she wasn't." Jenna nodded, adding a note to her laptop. "That's corroboration. Neutral third party, no stake in the outcome." She pulled up a calendar template and started filling in dates. "Okay, let's map the pattern. 5 incidents where her alibi doesn't match Trevor's public posts. All within 2 months," she typed quickly, cross-referencing the cloud metadata with Trevor's social media timestamps. "March 10th, she said. Mira claimed she was working late. Rideshare receipt shows she went to Trevor's building at 11:45 p.m. Marissa confirms Mira wasn't with her." "Right," I said. "March 17th. Mira claimed she had a work meeting. Cloud photo shows her at Pine Ridge Summit. Trevor posted from the same location, same day, same time." "Yeah." Jenna kept going, filling in the gaps. When she finished, she turned the laptop toward me. The calendar was color-coded: blue for Mira's stated alibis, red for contradictory evidence, green for neutral witness corroboration. "This is airtight," she said. "You've got timeline, location, witness, and financial proof. If they ask Trevor about any of these dates, he's either going to lie and get caught, or admit it and confirm the relationship." "What if he lies?" I asked. "Then you've got him on dishonesty during an ethics review," Jenna said. "That's worse than the relationship itself." She saved the file and emailed it to me. "Print this. Bring it to the hearing if they let you attend. Even if you're not in the room, having it ready means you're prepared if Mira tries to escalate things legally. You think she will? I think she's scared, Jenna said. Scared people do desperate things. She closed her laptop and finally opened the wine. We sat in silence for a minute, drinking. You doing okay? She asked. I'm fine. Ethan. I looked at her. I'm angry, I admitted, but I'm not letting it control me. I'm just letting the facts do the work. Good, she said. Keep it that way. Thursday, I got a notification on my phone, an email from the Clinic Ethics Committee. Case ID EC2847, and peer review hearing scheduled for Monday, April 1st at 2 p.m. Involved parties have been notified. If you wish to provide additional testimony or documentation, please reply to this email. I forwarded it to Jenna, then saved a screenshot. Monday, 3 days away. Friday morning, I woke to the sound of Mira's voice in the living room. She was on the phone again, pacing. I could hear her through the thin walls. I don't know what to do, she said. Her voice was strained. They're asking about dates. Specific dates. I can't remember where I was every single night 2 months ago. A pause. I know. But if they have receipts, Trevor, what am I supposed to say? Another pause. Longer this time. Okay. I'll say we were working late together. That's not a lie. We were at the clinic. My stomach tightened. She was coordinating her story with him. Yeah, she said. I'll meet you Sunday night. We'll go over everything. She hung up. I stayed in the guest room, door closed, and added another note. Day 26. Overheard Mira on phone with Trevor, coordinating alibis for peer review, plans to claim they were working late together to explain overlapping presence. Then I texted Jenna. She's coordinating her story with him? Jenna replied immediately. Let her. Coordinated lies are easier to break than independent ones. If their stories match too perfectly, it'll look rehearsed. I set my phone down and stared at the ceiling. Sunday came. I spent most of the day at the station, running calls. A car accident on the highway, minor injuries, but a lot of paperwork. A domestic disturbance that turned into a psych transport. A diabetic emergency at a grocery store. I stayed busy, kept my mind occupied. When I got home that night, Mira's car was gone. I checked the rideshare app out of habit. No charges. She was driving herself this time. Smart. No digital trail. I made dinner, ate alone, and tried to sleep. My mind kept spinning through scenarios. What if Trevor had a perfect alibi for every date? What if they both stuck to their story and the committee couldn't prove anything? What if Mira turned it around and claimed I was the one harassing her, stalking her, fabricating evidence? I forced myself to breathe. Jenna's voice echoed in my head. Let the facts do the work. I had the facts. Time-stamped, bank-verified, corroborated. That had to be enough. Monday morning, I didn't work. I'd requested the day off 2 weeks ago, citing personal business. I showered, dressed in clean slacks and a button-down shirt, and made coffee. Mira was already gone. She'd left early, probably to meet Trevor before the hearing. At 1:30, I drove to the clinic. It's a mid-sized facility on the north side of the city. 3 stories, modern glass exterior, clean and efficient. I'd been there once before when Mira first started working, back when things were still good between us. I parked in the visitor lot and sat in my car, waiting. I didn't know if I'd be allowed in the hearing. The email had said, involved parties notified, but I wasn't technically involved. I was just the anonymous complainant. At 1:55, I walked into the lobby. The receptionist looked up. Can I help you? I'm here for a peer review meeting, I said. Case ID EC2847. She checked her computer, frowned slightly, then picked up the phone. Let me check with Dr. Singh's office. She spoke quietly, then hung up. Someone will be down in a moment. I sat in the waiting area. A minute later, a woman in scrubs appeared. Late 20s, clipboard in hand. Are you the complainant? She asked quietly. Yes. Dr. Singh asked if you'd like to provide testimony. You're not required to, but you can submit additional documentation or answer questions if the committee requests it. I'll provide documentation, I said. She nodded. Follow me. She led me upstairs to a conference room on the 3rd floor. The door was closed, voices murmured inside. She knocked once, opened the door slightly, and spoke to someone I couldn't see. Then she turned back to me. They'll call you in if needed. You can wait here. She gestured to a row of chairs in the hallway. I sat. 10 minutes passed. 15. I could hear muffled voices through the door, but couldn't make out words. Then the door opened. A man in his 50s stepped out, tall, graying hair, wearing a white coat with a name tag. Dr. Naveen Singh. "Mr. Vale?" he asked. I stood. "Yes." "I'm Dr. Singh, chair of the peer review committee. We've reviewed your submitted documentation. It's thorough. We'd like to ask you a few questions, if you're willing." "I'm willing." He held the door open. I walked in. The conference room was plain. Long table, 8 chairs, whiteboard on one wall. 3 people sat on one side of the table. Dr. Singh, a woman in business attire, and a younger man in scrubs. On the other side sat Mira and Trevor. Mira's face went pale when she saw me. Trevor's expression hardened. "Mr. Vale," Dr. Singh said, gesturing to an empty chair at the end of the table. "Please, sit." I sat, kept my face neutral. Hands folded on the table. Dr. Singh opened a folder. "You filed a complaint regarding an undisclosed supervisor-subordinate relationship. You provided significant documentation, photos, receipts, timelines. We've reviewed it all. Can you walk us through how you obtained this information?" "Most of it came from shared accounts," I said. "Shared photo cloud, shared bank account, shared rideshare account. I didn't hack anything or access anything illegally. It was all information I had legitimate access to." The woman in business attire leaned forward. "And the social media posts?" "Public posts," I said. Trevor Ashford's profile had public location tags. I cross-referenced them with photos from the shared cloud. "Why did you cross-reference them?" she asked. "Because my girlfriend—" I paused. "My roommate Mira was lying to me about where she was going. I wanted to know the truth." Trevor spoke for the first time. "This is harassment. He's stalking us." "I didn't follow anyone," I said calmly. "I looked at information I already had access to. That's not stalking." Dr. Singh held up a hand. "Mr. Ashford, you'll have a chance to respond. Mr. Vale, did you at any point attempt to contact Mr. Ashford directly?" "No." "Did you confront Ms. Caldwell with this information?" "I asked her once where she went on a Friday night," I said. "She lied. I didn't confront her further. I filed the complaint because I believed there was a policy violation." Dr. Singh nodded slowly. He turned to Mira and Trevor. "Ms. Caldwell, Mr. Ashford, you've both stated that your relationship is professional and that you've occasionally worked late together. Is that correct?" "Yes," Mira said. "Then how do you explain the rideshare receipt showing Ms. Caldwell traveling to Mr. Ashford's residential address at 11:45 p.m. on March 10th? Mira's mouth opened. No sound came out. Trevor jumped in. "She gave me a ride home. My car was in the shop." "The receipt shows a rideshare service," Dr. Singh said, "not a personal vehicle." Trevor hesitated. "I meant she took a rideshare to my place to pick me up. We were carpooling." "At midnight?" the woman in business attire asked. "We'd been working late." Dr. Singh flipped a page. "Clinic access logs show neither of you badged in that evening." Silence. I didn't say anything. I just sat there, watching them unravel. Dr. Singh closed the folder. "We'll deliberate and notify you of our decision. Mr. Vale, thank you for your cooperation. You're dismissed." I stood, nodded, and walked out. In the hallway, I exhaled for the first time in 10 minutes. The door closed behind me. I didn't wait around. I walked downstairs, got in my car, and drove home. Whatever happened next was out of my hands. I didn't hear anything for 2 days. I worked my shifts, came home, ate, slept. The apartment was completely silent now. Mira stopped coming home at night. I didn't know where she was staying. Trevor's place, probably, or maybe Marissa finally caved and let her crash on the couch. I didn't ask. I didn't care. Wednesday afternoon, I was restocking the ambulance when my phone buzzed. Email from the Clinic Ethics Committee. Case ID EC2847. The peer review committee has completed its investigation. Mr. Trevor Ashford's clinic privileges have been suspended pending a full disciplinary review. Ms. Mira Caldwell has been issued a formal written warning for failure to disclose a conflict of interest. Further details will remain confidential per institutional policy. Thank you for bringing this matter to our attention. I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to Jenna and saved a screenshot. Kyle walked past carrying an oxygen tank. "You good?" "Yeah," I said. "Just got some news." "Good news?" "Good enough." He didn't push. That's what I liked about Kyle. He knew when to leave things alone. I finished my shift and drove home. When I pulled into the parking lot, I saw Mira's car. She was back. I walked into the apartment and found her sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. Her eyes were swollen. She'd been crying for hours. "They suspended him," she said without looking at me. "I heard." "They gave me a warning, a formal warning. It's going in my file." "Okay." She turned to me, her face twisted with anger and grief. You destroyed us. You know that, right? You destroyed everything. I didn't destroy anything, I said quietly. You lied. He lied. The clinic has policies. You violated them. We weren't doing anything wrong, she said, her voice breaking. We were just... You were sleeping with your boss, I said, and you lied about it. To me, to the clinic, to everyone. It wasn't like that. Then what was it like? I asked. Explain it to me. Explain the rideshare receipt to his apartment at midnight. Explain the matching vacation photos. Explain why you told me you were at Marissa's when you weren't. She didn't answer. She just sat there, tears running down her face. I didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt tired. I'm moving out, she said finally. Okay. I'll be gone by the end of the week. Okay. She wiped her eyes and stood. I hope you're happy. She went to her room and closed the door. I stood in the living room for a moment, then went to the guest room and updated my notes. Day 27. Mira informed me she's moving out by end of week. Confirmed Trevor's suspension and her formal warning. No further discussion. Thursday, I got a call from Lila at the leasing office. Hi, Ethan. Just wanted to follow up. Mira submitted a request to be removed from the lease effective immediately. She's willing to pay the early termination fee for her portion. Does that work for you? Yeah, I said. That works. Great. I'll process the paperwork. You'll be the sole leaseholder starting May 1st. I'll email you the updated terms. Thanks, Lila. Of course. And Ethan? Yeah? I'm sorry it came to this. Me too, I said. I hung up and saved a screenshot of the call log. Friday evening, I came home from a shift and found half the apartment empty. Mira had moved fast. Her furniture was gone. Couch, coffee table, bookshelf. The kitchen was stripped of her dishes, her cookware, her food. The bathroom had gaps where her toiletries used to be. I walked through the space, taking it in. It felt bigger, emptier, quieter. I didn't mind. I went to the guest room, my room now, and lay down, stared at the ceiling. My phone buzzed. Marissa. Ethan, I don't know what happened between you two, but Mira is a mess. She's staying with me for a few days. She said you ruined her career. Is that true? I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed, I reported a policy violation to her employer. What happened after that was between her and them. Marissa didn't respond. I set my phone down and closed my eyes. Saturday morning, I woke to pounding on the door. I checked my phone, 8:15. I'd only been asleep for 2 hours. I dragged myself out of bed and opened the door. Mira stood there, face red, breathing hard. She had a key in her hand. I need to get the rest of my things, she said. Okay. I stepped aside. She walked past me into the apartment, heading straight for her old bedroom. I followed at a distance, leaning against the hallway wall, watching. She threw open the closet, grabbing hangers, shoving clothes into garbage bags. She moved fast, angry, slamming drawers. You know what the worst part is? She said without looking at me. I didn't answer. The worst part is that you were right. I blinked. About what? About everything. She turned to face me, tears streaming down her face again. I did lie. I did cheat. I did all of it. And you just sat there and let me destroy myself. I didn't make you do anything, I said. You didn't stop me either. That wasn't my job? She laughed bitterly. No. Your job was to document it, to build your case, to be the perfect victim. I wasn't trying to be anything, I said. I was trying to survive. She stared at me for a long moment, then shook her head. I loved you, at some point, before all this. I loved you too, I said. But you stopped seeing me. You said it yourself. I was just a roommate who pays bills. I was angry, she said. I didn't mean it. You meant it, I said. You just didn't think I'd take you seriously. She wiped her face and went back to packing. I watched her for another minute, then went to the kitchen and made coffee. By the time I came back, she was dragging 3 garbage bags toward the door. That everything? I asked. Yeah. You need help carrying it? She looked at me like I'd slapped her. No. She opened the door, dragged the bags into the hallway, then turned back. I'm sorry, she said quietly. For what? For all of it. For lying. For hurting you. For being weak. I nodded. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? She stared at me, searching my face for something. Anger, forgiveness, pain. I didn't give her anything. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Mira. She walked out. I closed the door, locked it, and stood there for a moment. Then I went back to bed. Sunday, I spent the day cleaning. I wiped down surfaces, vacuumed, took out the trash. I moved my things from the guest room back into the master bedroom. I rearranged the furniture, made the space mine again. It felt good. Monday morning, Jenna called. How are you holding up? I'm fine. Liar. I smiled despite myself. I'm okay, really. Mira's gone. The lease is in my name. Trevor's suspended. It's over. Is it? Jenna asked. What do you mean? I mean, are you okay? Not just logistically, emotionally? I thought about it. I don't know yet. Ask me in a month. Fair, she said. You did good, Ethan. You stayed calm. You let the facts speak. You didn't let her flip it on you? Thanks. What are you going to do now? Work, sleep, figure out what normal looks like again. Sounds like a plan. We hung up. I sat on the couch, my couch now, and looked around the apartment. It was quiet, empty, but it was mine. Tuesday, I got another email, this one from Dr. Singh. Mr. Vale, I wanted to follow up personally. The committee appreciated your thoroughness and professionalism throughout this process. Situations like this are difficult, but documentation and honesty make our job easier. If you ever need a reference or a letter confirming your cooperation, please don't hesitate to reach out. Best, Dr. Naveen Singh. I saved it. Wednesday, I ran into Kyle at the station again. Hey, he said, haven't seen your girl around lately. She moved out. Damn, sorry, man. Don't be, it was time. He nodded. You seeing anyone? Not yet. Maybe soon. Good, he said. You deserve better than someone who lies. Yeah, I said. I do. Thursday, I got a text from an unknown number. This is Trevor. I don't know what your problem is, but you cost me my job. I hope you're proud. I stared at it for a long time. Then I blocked the number and deleted the message. I didn't owe him a response. I didn't owe him anything. Friday evening, I was cooking dinner, pasta, something simple, when my phone rang. Marissa. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Hello? Ethan, it's Marissa. I know. I owe you an apology. I set down the spatula. For what? For not believing you. Mira told me you were harassing her, tracking her, controlling her. I believed her, but after everything that came out, I realized she was lying about a lot of things. Okay? She's still here, on my couch, and she's a mess. But I think she knows she screwed up. Good. Are you angry? Marissa asked. Not anymore, I said. I was, for a while, but now I'm just tired. I get that. Marissa, why are you calling? She sighed. Because I wanted you to know that I know the truth now, and I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. It's fine. You were being a good friend. I was being a bad judge of character. Maybe, I said. But you're fixing it now. Thanks, Ethan. Yeah. We hung up. I finished cooking, ate, and washed the dishes. Then I sat on the couch and turned on a movie I didn't really watch. My phone buzzed one more time. Jenna. Proud of you, little brother? I smiled and typed back, Thanks. Couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have, but I'm glad I helped. I set my phone down and leaned back. The apartment was quiet, peaceful. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Saturday, I went for a run. Came back, showered, made breakfast. I didn't check my phone, didn't look at my documentation folder, didn't think about Mira or Trevor or hearings or receipts. I just existed, and it felt like enough. Sunday, I met up with Lauren, the nurse I'd gone on a date with weeks ago. We got coffee, talked about work. She asked if I was still dealing with roommate drama. Not anymore, I said. She moved out. Good for you. Yeah. You seem lighter, Lauren said. I feel lighter. She smiled. Want to grab dinner sometime this week? Yeah, I said. I'd like that. We finished our coffee and went our separate ways. I drove home, parked, and walked into the apartment. It was quiet, empty, mine. I sat down at the kitchen table and opened my laptop, pulled up the documentation folder one last time. I scrolled through it. Photos, receipts, screenshots, timelines, witness statements, all of it, organized and time-stamped. Then I created a new folder, labeled it Archive. I moved everything into it, closed the folder, and didn't look back. It was over. I thought it was over. I really did. For about a week, everything was calm. I worked my shifts, came home to the quiet apartment, started building a routine that didn't involve walking on eggshells or checking my phone for angry texts. I even went on a second date with Lauren, dinner at a Thai place downtown, easy conversation, no drama. It felt normal. I'd forgotten what normal felt like. Then Tuesday happened. I was 2 hours into a 12-hour shift when Kyle nudged me in the ambulance bay. "Hey, you see this?" He handed me his phone. Open on the screen was a Facebook post from someone named Monica Chen, one of Mira's coworkers from the clinic, someone I'd met maybe twice at work events. The post read, "Really disappointed to learn that some people will destroy others' careers over personal grudges. Professionalism is dead, supporting my girl through this nightmare." The comments underneath were a mix of heart emojis and replies like "stay strong" and "some people are just toxic." I handed the phone back. "Okay." "That's about you, right?" Kyle asked. "Probably." "You gonna respond?" "No." "Good," Kyle said. "Don't feed it." But it didn't stop there. Over the next 2 days, I started noticing things. A former mutual friend unfriended me on social media. Another one posted something vague about believing victims and emotional abuse. I didn't respond to any of it, didn't comment, didn't defend myself. Jenna called Wednesday night. "Have you seen what Mira's doing?" "I've seen some of it." "She's building a counter-narrative," Jenna said. "She's claiming you were controlling, that you tracked her every move, that you filed a complaint out of spite." "I know." "You need to shut this down." "How?" I asked. "If I respond, it looks defensive. If I don't, people assume she's telling the truth." "You don't respond publicly," Jenna said, "but you prepare. If this escalates, if she tries to take it further legally or professionally, you need to be ready." "I have everything documented." "Good. Keep it that way. And Ethan?" "Yeah?" "Don't let her bait you. She's trying to make you react. Stay calm." "I am calm." "I know. Stay that way." Thursday, I got a call from Lila at the leasing office. "Ethan, I wanted to give you a heads up. Mira came by yesterday asking for copies of the incident logs from your lease file." My stomach tightened. "What did you tell her?" "I told her I can only release that information with a legal request or your written permission." She wasn't happy, but she left. "Thanks for letting me know." "Of course. Just be careful, okay?" She seemed pretty determined. I hung up and immediately called Jenna. "She's trying to get the lease office records," I said. "Of course she is," Jenna said. "She wants to find something, anything she can use to flip the narrative. Emails you sent, complaints you filed, anything that makes you look aggressive or controlling." "But I don't have anything like that." "Exactly, which is why she's going to keep digging. She's hoping you slipped up somewhere." "What do I do?" "Nothing. Let her dig. She won't find anything because there's nothing to find. But document that she tried. It shows her intent." I added a note to my file. Day 31. Lila reports Mira attempted to access lease office incident logs. Request denied without legal authorization. Friday afternoon, I was grabbing groceries when I ran into Marissa in the produce section. She saw me, hesitated, then walked over. "Ethan." "Marissa. Can we talk for a second?" "Sure." She glanced around like she was worried someone might overhear. "Mira's not doing well." "Okay. I mean, really not well. She's obsessing. She thinks you're out to get her, that you're plotting something else. She keeps saying she needs to prove you were abusive." "I wasn't abusive. I know that," Marissa said quickly. "I told her that, but she's not listening. She's convinced that if she can find one thing, one email, one text, one witness, she can turn this around. There's nothing to find." "I know, but she's desperate, and desperate people do stupid things." "Why are you telling me this?" Marissa shifted her weight, uncomfortable. "Because I don't want this to get worse. For either of you. Mira made mistakes. Big ones. But I don't think she's a bad person. She's just scared." "I'm not trying to hurt her," I said. "I just wanted the truth." "I know, but she sees it differently. She thinks you weaponized the truth to destroy her." "That's not what happened." "I know," Marissa said again. "Just watch your back, okay?" She walked away before I could respond. I finished my shopping and went home. Sat on the couch and stared at the wall. Marissa's warning echoed in my head. Desperate people do stupid things. Saturday, I worked a double shift. Came home exhausted. Barely had the energy to shower before collapsing into bed. My phone buzzed as I was drifting off. A text from an unknown number. "You think you won. You didn't. I'll make sure everyone knows what you really are." I stared at it. Took a screenshot, blocked the number, added it to the documentation folder, then I tried to sleep. Sunday morning, I woke to 3 missed calls from Jenna. I called her back immediately. "What's wrong?" "Check your email," she said. "Now." I opened my laptop. The most recent email was from an address I didn't recognize. Generic Gmail, no name attached. The subject line read, "You should be ashamed." I opened it. The email was long, rambling, full of accusations. It claimed I was a narcissist, that I'd manipulated Mira for years, that I'd isolated her from her friends, controlled her money, tracked her every move. It said I'd filed the ethics complaint purely out of revenge, that I'd destroyed her career because I couldn't handle rejection. At the bottom, it said, "People like you don't deserve to get away with this. I'm making sure everyone knows the truth." There was no signature. "It's her, right?" I asked Jenna. "Probably, or someone she convinced to send it on her behalf." "What do I do?" "Save it. Don't respond. If she sends more, keep saving them. If she starts contacting your employer or your friends, you'll need proof of harassment." "This is insane." "This is desperation," Jenna said. "She's spiraling. Just stay calm and let her exhaust herself." I saved the email, added it to the folder, tried to go about my day, but it didn't stop. Monday, I got another email, same tone, different words. Tuesday, another one. By Wednesday, I'd received 5 emails from different throwaway accounts, all saying variations of the same thing. I didn't respond to any of them, just saved them all. Wednesday night, my phone rang. Lila again. "Ethan, I need to tell you something." "Okay." "Mira filed a formal complaint with our corporate office. She's claiming you harassed her, that you created a hostile living environment, and that we failed to protect her." My chest tightened. "What does that mean?" "It means corporate is reviewing the file. They'll look at all the logs, emails, and incident reports. They'll probably want to interview both of you." "I didn't do anything wrong." "I know, and the records will show that. But I wanted you to know it's happening." "Thanks." "Ethan, I reviewed everything again before I sent it up the chain. Your emails were civil, your documentation was factual, you never threatened her, never acted aggressively. You're going to be fine." "Okay, but if corporate reaches out, cooperate fully. Answer their questions. Don't get defensive." "I won't." We hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. This was escalating, fast. I called Jenna. "She filed a complaint with the apartment management," I said. "Of course she did. What's her claim?" "Harassment, hostile living environment." "And what do you have?" "Emails, texts, lease office logs, witness statements from Lila confirming I was civil the entire time." "Then you're fine. Let her file complaints. Let her send emails. Every time she does, she's creating more evidence of her own instability." "This doesn't feel fine." "I know. But you're doing everything right. She's the one spiraling." Thursday, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Hello?" "Mr. Vale, this is Amanda Brooks from Zenith Property Management. I'm calling regarding a complaint filed by Mira Caldwell. Do you have a few minutes to talk?" "Yes." "Great. I've reviewed the file from your leasing office, and I just want to clarify a few things. Ms. Caldwell claims you engaged in a pattern of harassment, including tracking her movements, controlling her finances, and filing false reports about her. Can you speak to that?" "I didn't track her movements," I said. "I accessed shared accounts that I was legally authorized to access. Shared bank account, shared photo cloud, shared rideshare account. I never followed her. I never installed anything on her devices. I never accessed anything I wasn't supposed to." "And the financial control?" "We had a joint bank account. When she told me she saw me as just a roommate who pays bills, I initiated a separation of finances. That's not control. That's responding to her stated wishes." "And the ethics complaint at her workplace?" "I filed a complaint because I believed there was a policy violation. I provided documentation. The clinic investigated and made their own decision. I didn't fabricate anything." Amanda was quiet for a moment. "Mr. Vale, I've reviewed your emails to the leasing office. They're all professional and factual. I've also reviewed the incident report from your meeting with Ms. Caldwell and the leasing agent. The agent's notes indicate Ms. Caldwell made claims of harassment but couldn't provide specific incidents or dates. Is that accurate?" "Yes." "Okay. Based on the documentation, I don't see evidence of harassment on your part. I'll be closing this complaint. Ms. Caldwell will be notified." "Thank you." "Of course. And Mr. Vale?" "Yes?" "Keep copies of everything. If this escalates further, you'll want a paper trail." "I have one." "Good." She hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, feeling a tiny bit of relief. But I knew this wasn't over. Friday, I got another email. This one was different. Ethan, I know you think you're right. I know you think I'm the villain. But you broke me. You took everything from me. My job, my home, my reputation. I hope you can live with that. It was signed, Mira. For the first time, I responded. Mira, I didn't take anything from you. You made choices. You lied. You violated policies. Those were your decisions. I just reported the truth. I'm sorry you're hurting, but I'm not responsible for the consequences of your actions. I hit send. 2 minutes later, she replied. You'll regret this. I didn't respond. Just saved it and added it to the folder. Saturday, I met with Jenna in person. We sat at a coffee shop, and I showed her everything. The emails, the texts, the complaint to property management, Lila's notes, Amanda's call summary. Jenna read through it all, her face unreadable. She's escalating, she said finally. I know. But she's also making mistakes, threatening you in writing, filing complaints that get dismissed, sending emails from anonymous accounts. She's building a case against herself. What do I do? Nothing. You keep doing exactly what you're doing. Stay calm, stay factual, document everything. If she keeps pushing, she's going to bury herself. And if she doesn't stop? Jenna looked at me. Then you file for a restraining order, but you're not there yet. Right now she's just noise. I nodded. Ethan, you're doing fine. Better than fine. You've handled this perfectly. Don't let her shake you now. I won't. But as I drove home, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was building towards something, and I had no idea what. The escalation came faster than I expected. Monday morning, I got a call from my supervisor at County General, Captain Harris, a no-nonsense guy who'd been running EMS operations for 15 years. He asked me to come in an hour early before my shift. What's this about? I asked. Just need to talk. Nothing urgent. See you at 5. I showed up at 4:55. Harris was in his office, door open, reviewing schedules on his computer. He waved me in and closed the door behind me. Sit. I sat. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. Got a call this morning from someone claiming to be a concerned colleague. Said you've been harassing your ex-girlfriend, stalking her, filing false reports to damage her career. My stomach dropped. That's not true. I figured, Harris said, but I have to ask, what's going on? I told him everything, the roommate declaration, the lies, the evidence, the ethics complaint, the peer review, Mira's escalating attempts to rewrite the narrative. Harris listened without interrupting. When I finished, he nodded slowly. You got proof of all this? Everything. Emails, receipts, timelines, witness statements. Send it to me. I'll review it and file it with HR. If she calls again, we'll have documentation showing her claims are baseless. She called the station? Anonymous tip line. Didn't leave a name, but the voice matched the description you just gave me of your ex. She said you're a danger to patients because you're emotionally unstable. I felt my jaw tighten. I've never had a complaint, never had a patient safety issue. I've been here 3 years. I know, which is why I'm not worried, but I need you to cover your ass. Send me everything, and if this escalates, we loop in HR and legal. Understood. And Ethan? Yeah? Stay sharp out there. If she's willing to call your job, she's willing to do more. Don't let her bait you into doing something stupid. I won't. I left his office and sat in the ambulance bay for a minute, trying to steady my breathing. She'd called my job. She was trying to get me fired. I pulled out my phone and texted Jenna. She called my supervisor, claimed I'm dangerous and unstable. Jenna replied immediately. Did he believe her? No, but he's documenting it. Good. She's spiraling. Let her keep going. I wanted to believe that. I wanted to believe she'd exhaust herself and this would just fade. But something about the way Harris had looked at me told me this was just getting started. That night, Kyle and I ran 4 calls, nothing major. Chest pain, fall with no injury, diabetic issue, psych transport. Between calls, Kyle asked if I was okay. You seem off, he said. Just dealing with some stuff. The ex? Yeah. She's still coming at you? She called the station, tried to get me in trouble. Kyle's face hardened. Seriously? Yeah. That's messed up, man. You want me to talk to Harris? I can vouch for you. I appreciate it, but I've got it covered. Harris knows it's bullshit. Still, if you need a witness or whatever, I'm here. Thanks, Kyle. He nodded, and we rode the rest of the shift in comfortable silence. When I got home Tuesday morning, there was a letter taped to my apartment door. Plain white envelope, no return address, my name written in handwriting I didn't recognize. I opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper with a printed message. You think you're untouchable, you're not. I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you did. Your job, your friends, your family, everyone. No signature. I took a photo of it, saved it to the folder, and brought it inside. Then I called Jenna. She left a letter on my door. What did it say? I read it to her. That's a threat, Jenna said. You need to file a police report. For a letter? For a pattern of harassment. The emails, the phone calls to your work, now this. You're building toward a restraining order, Ethan. You need an official record. I don't want to escalate this. She's already escalated it. You're just protecting yourself. I thought about it. She was right. This wasn't going to stop on its own. Okay, I'll file a report. Do it today, and bring copies of everything. Emails, texts, the property management complaint, the letter, everything. I hung up and pulled together a packet of documents. Printed everything, put it in a folder. Then I drove to the police station. The officer at the desk was a woman in her 30s. Bored expression, probably halfway through a double shift. I explained the situation, ex-girlfriend, escalating harassment, threats. She took notes, asked for the documentation. I handed over the folder. She flipped through it, her expression shifting from bored to interested. This is thorough, she said. I work in EMS. Documentation is part of the job. She nodded. Okay, I'm going to file this as a harassment report. It won't result in charges right now, but it creates a record. If she continues, you can use this to request a restraining order. How long does that take? Depends on the judge. Usually a few days if you can show a credible threat. Based on what you've got here, I'd say you have grounds. Okay. She typed up the report, printed a copy, and handed it to me. Keep this, and if she contacts you again, any form of contact, document it and call us immediately. I will. Thank you. I left the station and sat in my car for a minute, staring at the report. It felt surreal. A month ago, I was living with someone I thought I'd spend my life with. Now I was filing police reports. Tuesday night, I worked another shift. No calls from Harris, no drama, just work. But when I got home Wednesday morning, there was another letter on my door. This one was different. Handwritten, messy, emotional. Ethan, I know you hate me. I know you think I deserve this. But I'm begging you. Please stop. Please leave me alone. I can't take this anymore. You've already ruined my career. Don't ruin the rest of my life. It was signed, Mira. I stared at it, my chest tight. Part of me felt bad. She sounded broken, desperate. But another part of me, the part that remembered the lies, the manipulation, the false harassment claims, knew this was another tactic. I took a photo, added it to the folder, called Jenna. She left another letter. This one's playing the victim, begging me to stop. Stop what? Jenna asked. You haven't contacted her in weeks. Exactly. She's trying to bait you into responding. Don't. I'm not. Good. Add it to the police report. This shows a pattern. First threatening, now manipulative. It's all evidence. I drove back to the station and handed the officer the new letter. She added it to the file. You might want to consider filing for that restraining order sooner rather than later, she said. I'm thinking about it. Don't think too long. This kind of behavior tends to escalate. I nodded and left. Wednesday night, I met Lauren for dinner. She could tell something was wrong. You okay? She asked. Just dealing with some ex-drama. The roommate? Yeah. She's not handling the breakup well. Is it serious? I hesitated. She's been sending threatening messages, calling my work, leaving letters at my apartment. Lauren's eyes widened. Ethan, that's stalking. I know. I filed a police report. Good. Are you safe? Yeah. She's not violent. She's just trying to mess with my head. Still, be careful. I will. We finished dinner, and Lauren walked me to my car. If you need anything, someone to talk to, a place to crash, let me know, okay? Thanks. I appreciate it. She squeezed my hand and walked to her own car. I drove home, parked, and checked the door before going inside. No new letters. Small relief. Thursday, I got an email from Dr. Singh at the clinic. Mr. Vale, I wanted to update you on the outcome of the review. Mr. Ashford's suspension has been made permanent. He has been terminated for cause effective immediately. Ms. Caldwell remains employed but has been reassigned to a different department under a different supervisor. Thank you again for bringing this matter to our attention. I saved the email, forwarded it to Jenna. She replied, Good. That's closure on that front. Now focus on protecting yourself from her retaliation. Thursday night, I worked another shift. Got home Friday morning. No letters, no emails, no calls. It felt too quiet. Friday afternoon, I was sleeping when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but I picked up. Hello? Mr. Vale, this is Officer Chen from the police department. We received a call this morning from a Mira Caldwell claiming you've been harassing her. She's requesting a restraining order against you. I sat up, fully awake now. What? She claims you've been sending threatening emails, showing up at her workplace, and stalking her online. That's completely false. I haven't contacted her in weeks. I haven't been to her workplace. I haven't sent her anything. Do you have proof of that? Yes. I have all my emails, texts, and location data. I can prove I haven't contacted her or gone near her. Good. I need you to come down to the station and provide a statement. We're reviewing both your harassment report and her claim. This needs to be sorted out. I'll be there in an hour. I hung up, called Jenna. She filed a restraining order against me? Of course she did. It's a classic Darvo move. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. She's trying to flip the script. What do I do? Exactly what you've been doing. Provide your documentation. Show you haven't contacted her. Show her pattern of escalation. The police will see through it. I got dressed, grabbed my folder, and drove to the station. Officer Chen was waiting. I handed over everything. My phone's location history showing I hadn't been near the clinic or Marissa's apartment. Email logs showing I'd sent nothing to Mira except one response weeks ago. Call logs showing I hadn't called her. Officer Chen reviewed it all. This is pretty clear, she said. You haven't contacted her. She's contacted you repeatedly. So what happens now? We'll deny her restraining order request and keep your harassment report active. If she continues, we'll escalate. You may want to file for your own restraining order. I'm considering it. Don't wait too long. This kind of thing doesn't usually de-escalate on its own. I thanked her and left. Saturday, I stayed home. Didn't work. Didn't go out. Just tried to process everything. Sunday morning, I woke to a text from Marissa. Ethan, I'm so sorry. Mira told me she was going to file a restraining order. I told her it was a bad idea. I told her to just move on. She's not listening to anyone. I don't know what else to do. I typed back, It's not your fault. Thanks for trying. She replied, If you need me to testify or provide a statement or anything, let me know. She's not being honest about what happened, and I know that now. I appreciate that. I might take you up on it. Anytime? I set my phone down and stared at the ceiling. This wasn't over. Not even close. But I wasn't backing down either. Sunday afternoon, Jenna came over. She brought takeout and her laptop. We sat at my kitchen table and laid out everything again. Every email, every letter, every police report, every witness statement. You need to file for the restraining order, she said. Not as retaliation, as protection. I know. When? Tomorrow. I'll go to the courthouse first thing. She nodded, pulling up a template on her laptop. Let's draft the petition now. We'll include the timeline, the threats, the false reports to your employer and the police, the letters, everything. We worked for 2 hours. By the time we finished, the petition was 8 pages long, clean, factual, chronological. No emotion, just events and evidence. This is solid, Jenna said. A judge will see the pattern immediately. What if she shows up to contest it? Let her. You have documentation, she has lies, the truth wins. Does it? I asked. Because right now it feels like she's winning. She's making my life hell and facing no consequences. Jenna closed her laptop and looked at me. She's not winning. She's drowning. And she's taking wild swings trying to pull you down with her. But you're not drowning, Ethan. You're standing on solid ground. She can't touch you if you don't let her. I wanted to believe that. Monday morning, I went to the courthouse, filed the restraining order petition. The clerk reviewed it, stamped it, and handed me a hearing date. Thursday at 10 a.m. You'll both be notified. Bring all your evidence. I will. I left the courthouse and texted Jenna. Filed. Hearing Thursday. Good. Now stay away from her. Don't respond to anything. Don't engage. Let the court handle it. I won't. Monday night, I worked a shift. It was busy. 5 calls back to back. Car accident, overdose, chest pain, fall, psych case. I didn't have time to think about Mira or restraining orders or threats. Just work. Just patience. Just doing my job. It felt good to focus on something else. When I got home Tuesday morning, there was nothing on my door. No letters, no emails, no calls. Just silence. I didn't trust it. Tuesday afternoon, I got a call from Kyle. Hey, you got a second? Yeah, what's up? Someone came by the station looking for you. My chest tightened. Who? Didn't give a name. Woman, early 30s, brown hair. Asked the front desk when you'd be in next. Receptionist told her we don't give out shift schedules. Did she say what she wanted? Nope. Just asked about you and left. Thanks for the heads up. You think it was her? Probably. Man, this is getting out of hand. I know. I filed for a restraining order. Hearing's Thursday. Good. You need anything, let me know. I will. Thanks, Kyle. I hung up and immediately called the courthouse. I asked if I could file an addendum to my petition. They said yes. I drove back down, added a note about someone matching Mira's description showing up at my workplace asking about my schedule, and had it added to the file. Is this part of the pattern you described? The clerk asked. Yes. She stamped the addendum. Judge will see this Thursday. Tuesday night, I tried to sleep but couldn't. My mind kept running through scenarios. What if the judge didn't grant the restraining order? What if Mira showed up and lied convincingly? What if she had her own evidence, fabricated or manipulated, that made me look like the aggressor? I forced myself to breathe. I had the truth. I had documentation. That had to be enough. Wednesday, I didn't work. I stayed home, reviewed my evidence one more time, organized it into a binder with tabs. Emails, texts, letters, police reports, witness statements, employment records showing no complaints or issues, location data showing I hadn't been near her. Everything. Jenna came over again that evening, reviewed the binder. This is perfect, she said. Clear, organized, overwhelming. If the judge reads even half of this, you'll get the order. And if Mira contests it, then she'll have to explain why she sent threatening letters, called your job, filed a false restraining order request, and showed up at your workplace. She can't, because the evidence contradicts her. What if she cries? What if she plays the victim? Then you stay calm and let the evidence speak. Don't get emotional. Don't attack her. Just present facts. Okay. Ethan, you've got this. I'll be there tomorrow. You're not alone. Wednesday night, I barely slept. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to every sound, cars passing, footsteps in the hallway, the hum of the refrigerator, waiting for another letter, another threat, another escalation. Nothing came. Thursday morning, I got up at 7, showered, dressed in slacks, a button-down shirt, and a blazer. Courtroom appropriate. I made coffee, couldn't drink it, made toast, couldn't eat it. Jenna picked me up at 9. We drove to the courthouse in silence. You ready? She asked as we parked. As ready as I'll ever be. We walked inside, went through security, and found the courtroom. It was small, plain, wooden benches, a judge's bench at the front, a clerk's desk to the side. A few other people were waiting for their cases. Mira wasn't there yet. We sat in the back. I set the binder on my lap and tried to steady my breathing. At 9:55, the door opened. Mira walked in. She looked different, thinner. Her face was drawn, dark circles under her eyes. She was dressed conservatively, blouse, slacks, minimal makeup. She had a folder in her hand. She saw me, and for a second our eyes met. Hers were hard, angry, hurt, all at once. She sat on the opposite side of the courtroom, didn't look at me again. At 10, the clerk called the room to order. The judge entered, a woman in her 50s, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses perched on her nose. She sat, reviewed a file on her desk, then looked up. Case number 47832. Ethan Vale petitioning for a restraining order against Mira Caldwell. Mr. Vale, you're the petitioner? I stood. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Caldwell, you're present to contest? Mira stood. Yes, Your Honor. All right. Mr. Vale, you may present your case. I walked to the front, set my binder on the small table, and opened it. Your Honor, I'm requesting a restraining order due to a pattern of harassment that began approximately 4 weeks ago. My ex-girlfriend, Ms. Caldwell, has sent multiple threatening emails and letters, filed false reports to my employer and the police, and showed up at my workplace asking about my schedule. I handed the clerk a copy of the binder. She passed it to the judge. This binder contains all the evidence, emails, letters, police reports, witness statements, and employment records. I've had no contact with Ms. Caldwell except for one email response asking her to stop. I have not gone to her home or workplace. I have not called her. I have not threatened her. The judge flipped through the binder, her face neutral. These are the threatening letters? She asked, holding up the copies. Yes, Your Honor. The first one was left on my apartment door. The second was left 2 days later. And these emails? Yes, Your Honor. Sent from multiple anonymous accounts over a 2-week period, all with similar content. Accusations, threats, attempts to damage my reputation? The judge read silently for a minute. Then she looked up at Mira. Ms. Caldwell, did you send these letters and emails? Mira stood. Your Honor, I did leave letters, but they weren't threatening. I was begging him to stop harassing me. He's been stalking me online, tracking my movements, filing false complaints about me and my boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend, the judge corrected, glancing at a document. Mr. Trevor Ashford, who was terminated from his position following an ethics investigation. Is that correct? Mira hesitated. Yes, but that investigation was based on lies that Ethan... Ms. Caldwell, did you or did you not send these emails? The judge asked firmly. I sent letters, but... Did you send emails from anonymous accounts? Mira's jaw tightened. I may have sent some emails, but only because he was... Yes or no? Yes. The judge made a note. And did you call Mr. Vale's employer claiming he was dangerous and unstable? Mira looked at her folder. I called because I was concerned. Did you call? Yes. And did you go to his workplace asking about his schedule? I went there to talk to him, but... Ms. Caldwell, do you have any evidence that Mr. Vale has contacted you, threatened you, or harassed you in any way since your relationship ended? Mira opened her folder, pulled out a few printed pages. He sent me an email telling me I made choices and that I'm responsible for the consequences. That felt threatening. The judge held out her hand. Mira passed the email forward. The judge read it, raised an eyebrow. This email is one sentence long and was sent in response to your message accusing him of breaking you. It's factual and not threatening. It felt threatening to me, Mira said, her voice rising. He destroyed my career. He turned everyone against me. Ms. Caldwell, the judge said, her tone sharp. Mr. Vale filed an ethics complaint with your employer based on documented evidence. That employer conducted an independent investigation and made their own decision. That is not harassment. That is not stalking. That is reporting a policy violation. Mira's face crumpled. Your Honor, he's making me out to be the villain, but he controlled me for years. He tracked my bank accounts. Did he have legal access to those accounts? We had joint accounts, but then he had legal access. Did he access anything he was not authorized to access? Mira said nothing. Ms. Caldwell, based on the evidence in front of me, you have engaged in a sustained campaign of harassment against Mr. Vale. You have sent threatening communications. You have made false reports to his employer and law enforcement. You have shown up at his workplace. Meanwhile, Mr. Vale has documented everything and refrained from any contact except one brief response to your messages. Your Honor, please. I'm granting the restraining order, the judge said. Ms. Caldwell, you are prohibited from contacting Mr. Vale in any form. Phone, email, text, social media, third-party communication. You are prohibited from coming within 500 feet of his home or workplace. This order is effective immediately and will remain in place for 1 year. Violation of this order will result in arrest. Do you understand? Mira's hands were shaking. Yes. The judge signed the order and handed it to the clerk. Mr. Vale, you'll receive a copy of the signed order within 24 hours. Keep it with you. If she violates it, call the police immediately. Thank you, Your Honor. The judge looked at Mira one more time. Ms. Caldwell, I strongly suggest you seek counseling and leave Mr. Vale alone. This behavior is not helping you. It's only making things worse. Mira nodded, tears streaming down her face. The judge stood. We're adjourned. I gathered my binder and walked out of the courtroom. Jenna was waiting in the hallway. You okay? She asked. Yeah. You did good. We walked outside into the sunlight. I stood there for a moment, breathing. It was over. Really over. Mira couldn't contact me, couldn't come near me, couldn't keep sending letters or emails or showing up at my job. It was done. Jenna put her hand on my shoulder. Let's get coffee. You need to decompress. Yeah, I said. Coffee sounds good. We walked to her car. As we drove away, I glanced back at the courthouse one last time. I didn't see Mira, and I hoped I never would again. I spent the rest of Thursday in a strange fog. Jenna and I got coffee, sat in a quiet corner booth, and didn't talk much. She knew I needed space to process. The restraining order was signed. Legal, enforceable. Mira couldn't touch me anymore. But I didn't feel relief. Not yet. I felt exhausted. You should take a few days off, Jenna said. Decompress, sleep, do something that isn't work or court or documentation. Maybe. Not maybe. Do it. I nodded. Okay. She drove me home. I thanked her, went inside, and collapsed on the couch. Stared at the ceiling. My phone buzzed. Text from Kyle. Heard it went well. Good for you, man. I replied, "Yeah, it's done. Want to grab a beer later?" "Rain check. I'm wiped." "No problem. You earned the rest." I set my phone down and closed my eyes. For the first time in weeks, I let myself relax. Really relax. No waiting for the next email, no checking the door for letters, no wondering when she'd escalate again. It was over. I slept for 4 hours. Woke up at 6 in the evening, made dinner, and watched a movie I didn't really pay attention to. My mind kept drifting back to the courtroom. The look on Mira's face when the judge said, "I'm granting the restraining order." The way her hands shook. The tears. Part of me felt bad. She was broken, desperate, humiliated. But another part of me, the part that had been lied to, manipulated, and harassed, knew she'd done this to herself. Friday, I didn't work. I stayed home, cleaned the apartment, organized my files, and finally moved everything related to Mira into a single archive folder on my laptop. Zipped it, backed it up, and then closed it. I didn't need to look at it anymore. Friday evening, Lauren texted. "Haven't heard from you in a few days. You okay?" "Yeah, just dealt with some legal stuff, restraining order hearing." "Did you get it?" "Yeah." "Good. Want to grab dinner tomorrow?" "No pressure, just thought you might want company." I smiled. "Yeah, that sounds good." "Great. I'll pick the place. See you at 7. Saturday, I met Lauren at a small Italian place near the waterfront. She was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner table, wine glass in hand. "Hey," she said, smiling. "You look better." "I feel better." We ordered, talked about work, about the weather, about nothing important. It felt normal, easy, no drama, no tension, just two people having dinner. Halfway through the meal, she asked, "So, the restraining order, does that mean it's really over?" "Yeah, she can't contact me, can't come near me. If she does, she gets arrested." "How do you feel about that?" I thought about it. Relieved and sad. It didn't have to be like this. But it is. Yeah. "You did the right thing," Lauren said. "You protected yourself. That's not something to feel guilty about." "I know, it's just weird. A month ago, I thought I was going to spend my life with her. Now I have a court order keeping her away." "People change," Lauren said. "Or maybe they show you who they really are and you finally see it. Maybe." We finished dinner, walked along the waterfront for a while, and then she drove me home. At my door, she squeezed my hand. "Take care of yourself, Ethan." "I will. Thanks for tonight." "Anytime?" She left, and I went inside, sat on the couch, felt something shift inside me. Not closure, exactly, but something close. Sunday, I went for a long run. Came back, showered, made breakfast. My phone rang, unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but it had been days since the hearing. Maybe it was just spam. I picked up. "Hello?" "Mr. Vale, this is Dr. Singh from the clinic." I sat up. "Dr. Singh, hi. I wanted to follow up personally. I heard about the restraining order. I'm sorry it came to that." "Thank you." "I also wanted to let you know that Ms. Caldwell submitted her resignation Friday afternoon. She's no longer employed here." I didn't know what to say. "She didn't have to resign," Dr. Singh continued. "We'd reassigned her, but I think the situation became untenable for her. I don't know where she's going, but she's left the clinic." "Okay. I wanted you to know, in case it provides some peace of mind. The matter is fully closed on our end." "I appreciate that. Take care, Mr. Vale." "You too." I hung up. Mira had quit, or been forced out. Either way, she was gone. I texted Jenna. "Mira resigned from the clinic." She replied immediately. "Good. Clean break. How do you feel?" "I don't know. Relieved, I guess." "You should be. She made her choices. Now she has to live with them." "Yeah." Sunday afternoon, I went to the grocery store. Normal errand, normal Sunday. As I was loading bags into my car, I heard a voice behind me. "Ethan." I turned. Marissa. She looked nervous, hands in her jacket pockets, shifting her weight. "Hey," I said. "Hey, I'm sorry to ambush you. I just saw your car and thought I'd say hi." "It's fine. What's up?" I wanted to apologize for not seeing what was happening sooner, for believing her version of things. "You were being a good friend." "I was being a blind friend," Marissa said. "I saw the signs, the lying, the way she talked about Trevor, the way she talked about you. I just didn't want to believe she'd do something like that." "It's okay, Marissa." "It's not, and I'm sorry." I nodded. "I appreciate that." She hesitated, then asked, "How are you doing, really?" "I'm okay, moving forward." "Good, you deserve that." She paused. Mira's not doing well. I heard she quit her job. Yeah, she's staying with her parents now, out of state. I don't think she's coming back. I didn't know how to respond to that. I know you probably don't care, Marissa said, but I thought you should know. She's not going to bother you anymore. She's done. Okay? And Ethan? For what it's worth, I think you handled this better than most people would have. You stayed calm. You didn't retaliate. You just told the truth. Thanks. She gave me a small smile. Take care of yourself. You too. She walked away. I loaded the last bag into my car and drove home. Mira was gone, out of state, out of my life. It was really over. Monday, I went back to work. Captain Harris pulled me aside before my shift. How'd the hearing go? Got the restraining order? Good. And the complaint she filed here? HR reviewed it. Closed it. No action needed. Harris nodded. All right. Let me know if anything else comes up. Otherwise, we're moving on. Sounds good. I worked a full shift. 6 calls, nothing dramatic. Felt good to be back in the rhythm. Kyle and I grabbed food after shift at a 24-hour diner. You seem lighter, he said. I feel lighter. Good. You going to be okay? Yeah, I think so. What's next? I don't know. Just work. Live my life. Date, maybe. Kyle grinned. That nurse you've been seeing? Maybe. Good for you, man. You earned it. Tuesday, I got an email from the courthouse. Official copy of the restraining order, signed and stamped. I saved it, printed a copy, and put it in my glove box, just in case. Wednesday, I had coffee with Jenna. How are you doing? She asked. Good. Really good, actually. No more emails, letters, calls? Nothing. Radio silence. That's what we want. Yeah. Jenna studied my face. You look different. Different how? Relaxed, like you're not waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm not. It's over. She's gone. I can move on. Good. She smiled. I'm proud of you, Ethan. You handled this exactly right. I had good help. You did the work. I just pointed you in the right direction. We finished our coffee and she hugged me before we left. Take care of yourself, and don't be a stranger. I won't. Thursday, I worked another shift. Came home, slept, woke up to a text from Lauren. Dinner Friday? Yeah, sounds good. Great. My place this time. I'll cook. You sure? Positive. See you at 7. Friday evening, I showed up at Lauren's apartment with a bottle of wine. She'd made pasta, set the table, lit candles. It was simple, nice. We ate, talked, laughed. No tension, no baggage, just 2 people enjoying each other's company. After dinner, we sat on her couch, talking about work, about life, about everything and nothing. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Are you over her? Mira? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Yeah, I said. I think I am. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not sad. I'm just done. Good. Because I like you, Ethan, and I don't want to be a rebound. You're not. She smiled. Okay. We kept talking until midnight. When I left, she walked me to the door and kissed me, soft, genuine. See you soon? She asked. Yeah, definitely. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in months. Saturday, I cleaned the apartment. Really cleaned it. Scrubbed the floors, wiped down the walls, rearranged the furniture. Made it mine, not ours, mine. By the time I finished, it looked different. Felt different. Like a fresh start. Saturday night, I sat on the couch and opened my laptop. Pulled up the archive folder, the one with all the evidence, all the documentation, everything I'd collected over the past 6 weeks. I stared at it for a minute. Then I moved it to an external hard drive, ejected the drive, and put it in a drawer. I didn't need it anymore, but I'd keep it, just in case. Sunday, I woke up feeling good, really good. I made coffee, sat on the balcony, and watched the city wake up. My phone buzzed. Text from Kyle. Beer and wings tonight? Yeah, I'm in. 7 at Murphy's. See you there. I set my phone down and took a deep breath. It had been 6 weeks since Mira told me I was just a roommate who pays bills. 6 weeks since everything fell apart. But I'd survived it. I'd documented everything. I'd stayed calm. I'd let the truth do the work. And now I was free. Sunday evening, I met Kyle at Murphy's. We grabbed a booth, ordered wings, and talked about normal things, work, sports, stupid calls we'd run. Halfway through the meal, he asked, You good, man? Really? Yeah, I'm good. No more drama? No more drama. He raised his beer. To moving on. I clinked my glass against his. To moving on. We finished our food, paid the tab, and walked out. The night air was cool, the streets quiet. Kyle clapped me on the shoulder. Proud of you, man. Thanks. See you at shift tomorrow? Yeah, see you then. I drove home, parked, and walked up to my apartment. No letters on the door, no emails waiting, no missed calls, just peace. I went inside, locked the door, and sat on the couch, pulled out my phone and opened the Notes app. The documentation file I'd been updating for weeks. I scrolled to the bottom, added one final entry. Day 42. Restraining order in place. Mira moved out of state. No contact for 10 days. It's over. Moving forward. Then I closed the app and set my phone down. I didn't need to document anymore. Didn't need to be on guard. Didn't need to brace for the next attack. I could just live. Monday morning, I woke up early. Made coffee. Went for a run. Came back, showered, and got ready for my shift. My phone buzzed. Text from Lauren. Thinking about you, have a good shift. I smiled and replied, Thanks. Dinner this week? Definitely. Wednesday? Perfect. I set my phone down, grabbed my keys, and walked out the door. The sun was up. The air was warm. The city was alive. And so was I. For the first time in weeks, I felt like myself again. Not the guy who was documenting a cheating girlfriend. Not the guy who was filing restraining orders. Not the guy who was fighting to protect his reputation. Just Ethan. Just me. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove to work. The past was behind me, and the future was mine. 3 weeks after the restraining order was finalized, I'd almost forgotten what it felt like to constantly look over my shoulder. Almost. I still checked my door every time I came home. Still scanned my email for anonymous sender addresses. Still felt a small jolt of adrenaline when an unknown number called. But those moments were getting fewer. The noise was fading. I was working a Wednesday evening shift when Captain Harris called me into his office again. My stomach dropped. I thought we were done with all this. Relax, he said, seeing my face. It's not bad. Sit. I sat. He slid a piece of paper across the desk. Got this today. Letter from the clinic's legal department. They wanted to formally notify us that the complaint filed against you was investigated and found to be without merit. They're closing their file and apologizing for any inconvenience. I read the letter. It was exactly what he said. Formal, legal, final. They didn't have to send this, Harris said, but I think they wanted to cover their bases, make sure there's no blowback on their end. Okay. Ethan, this is good. It means you're clear, officially. No shadow on your record. No questions about your conduct. You're in the clear. I nodded. Thanks, Captain. You handled this right, he said. A lot of people would have lost their temper, would have retaliated. You stayed professional. That matters. I appreciate that. Now get back to work, and stop looking so serious all the time. You're making the rookies nervous. I smiled. Yes, sir. I left his office and went back to the bay. Kyle was restocking the ambulance. Everything good? He asked. Yeah, just more closure. Good. You need it. We ran 4 calls that night. Diabetic emergency, car accident with minor injuries, elderly fall, chest pain, standard stuff. I felt present, focused, not distracted by wondering what Mira was doing or planning. When I got home Thursday morning, I made breakfast, ate on the balcony, and watched the sunrise. My phone buzzed. Lauren. Still on for dinner tonight? Absolutely. My place or yours? Yours. I'll bring wine. Perfect. See you at 7. I set my phone down and leaned back in my chair. Life was starting to feel normal again. Routines were settling. I was sleeping better, eating better. I'd even started going to the gym again. Thursday evening, I showed up at Lauren's with a bottle of red. She'd made chicken, roasted vegetables, and some kind of fancy rice dish. We ate on her small balcony overlooking the city. You seem different, she said. Different how? Lighter, like you're not carrying something heavy anymore. I'm not, she smiled. Good. I like this version of you. Me too. After dinner, we stayed on the balcony talking. She told me about her shift, a trauma case that went sideways, a patient who coded and came back, a doctor who yelled at everyone for no reason. Sounds like a Tuesday, I said. She laughed. Pretty much. Then she asked, Have you heard anything from her, Mira? No, nothing. She's out of state, staying with her parents, from what I heard. Is she coming back? I don't think so. I think she burned too many bridges here. Lauren nodded. That's probably for the best. Yeah. She reached over and took my hand. I'm glad you're okay, Ethan. I'm glad you didn't let her break you. Me too. We sat in comfortable silence for a while, just holding hands, watching the lights of the city flicker on as the sun went down. When I left that night, she kissed me at the door. Longer this time, deeper. See you this weekend? She asked. Yeah, definitely. I drove home feeling something I hadn't felt in months. Hopeful. Friday, I had the day off. I slept in, went for a run, came back and cleaned the apartment. My phone rang. Jenna. Hey, how's it going? Good. Really good, actually. No more incidents? None. It's been quiet. Good. That's what we want. She paused. I'm proud of you, Ethan. You survived something that would have destroyed a lot of people. I had help. You did the work. I just kept you organized. Well, thanks for everything. Anytime. You're my little brother. That's what I'm here for. We talked for a few more minutes, then hung up. I sat on the couch looking around the apartment. It felt like mine now, really mine. Not a shared space, not a battleground, just home. Friday night, I met Kyle and a few other paramedics at a bar downtown. We played pool, drank beer, talked about nothing important. It felt good to be around people who didn't know the whole story, who just saw me as Ethan, the paramedic. Not Ethan, the guy with the crazy ex. Around 11, Kyle pulled me aside. You doing okay? Really? Yeah, I am. Good. You seem like yourself again. I feel like myself again. He clapped me on the shoulder. Good. Let's keep it that way. Saturday, I went hiking. Alone. Just me, a trail, and a few hours of silence. I hadn't done that in years. Forgot how much I liked it. At the summit, I sat on a rock and looked out over the valley. Pulled out my phone and took a photo. Not for anyone else. Just for me. Then I opened my notes app, scrolled to the documentation file, the one I'd been updating for weeks. I read through it one more time. Every entry, every detail, every piece of evidence. Then I closed it, archived it, and moved on. Saturday night, Lauren came over to my place for the first time since Mira left. She walked in, looked around, and smiled. It looks different. I rearranged things, made it mine. I like it. We made dinner together. Nothing fancy, just pasta and salad. We ate on the couch, watched a movie, talked through most of it. When it ended, she leaned against me. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think you'll ever trust someone again after everything that happened? I thought about it. Yeah, I think so. It'll take time. But I don't want to let what she did ruin what I could have with someone else. She looked up at me. That's a good answer. Thanks. She kissed me, soft at first, then more intense. We stayed on the couch for a long time, just holding each other. When she left that night, she squeezed my hand at the door. I'm glad I met you, Ethan. I'm glad I met you too. Sunday, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in months. I made coffee, sat on the balcony, and just breathed. My phone buzzed. Text from Marissa. Hey, I know this is random, but I wanted to let you know Mira's doing better. She's in therapy, she's working on herself. I don't think she'll ever reach out to you, but I thought you should know she's not in that dark place anymore. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to not care, to just move on and forget she existed. But another part of me, the part that had loved her once, was glad she was getting help. I typed back, Thanks for letting me know. I hope she finds peace. Marissa replied, You too, Ethan. You deserve it. I set my phone down and looked out at the city. I did deserve peace, and I was finally finding it. Monday, I worked a full shift. Captain Harris waved me over as I was leaving. Got a second? Sure. He handed me an envelope. Performance review. You're up for a commendation. Consistently high marks, 0 complaints, exemplary conduct. Thought you should know. I opened the envelope. Read the review. It was glowing. Thanks, Captain. You earned it. Keep it up. I left the station feeling proud. Not because of the review, but because I'd kept my life together through everything. I hadn't let the chaos bleed into my work. I'd stayed professional, focused. That mattered. Tuesday, I had coffee with Jenna. She asked how things were going with Lauren. Good. Really good. You serious about her? I don't know yet, but I like her, and I'm not rushing anything. Smart. Yeah. Jenna smiled. You've come a long way, Ethan. 2 months ago, you were documenting every receipt and fighting for your reputation. Now you're dating, working, living your life. I'm proud of you. Thanks. I couldn't have done it without you. You could have, but I'm glad I was here. We finished our coffee, and she hugged me before we left. Stay happy, little brother. I will. Wednesday, I worked another shift. It was busy, 7 calls, back to back. By the end, I was exhausted but satisfied. This was what I was good at. Helping people, staying calm under pressure, doing the job. When I got home Thursday morning, I slept for 6 hours straight. No nightmares, no waking up in a panic, just deep, restful sleep. When I woke up, I made lunch, ate on the balcony, and checked my phone. No emails from anonymous accounts, no threatening letters, no unknown calls, just normal messages, work schedules, texts from friends, a message from Lauren asking if I wanted to grab dinner Friday. Normal. I replied, yeah, let's do it. Friday evening, Lauren and I went to a steakhouse downtown. We talked about work, about her family, about a trip she wanted to take in the fall. Would you want to come? She asked. Where? Colorado. Hiking, camping, just getting away for a week. I thought about it. A few months ago, I couldn't have imagined planning a trip with someone. Couldn't have imagined trusting someone enough to go away with them. But now? Yeah, I said. I'd like that. She smiled. Good. It's a date. After dinner, we walked through the city, hand in hand. It was warm, the streets were busy, the city was alive, and I felt present. Really present. When we got back to her place, she invited me in. We sat on the couch, talked until midnight, and then I kissed her goodnight. See you this weekend? She asked. Yeah, definitely. I drove home, parked, and walked up to my apartment. No letters on the door, no sense of dread, just home. Saturday, I went to the gym. Ran on the treadmill, lifted weights, felt strong, physically, mentally, emotionally. Saturday night, I stayed in. Watched a game, made dinner, texted with Lauren. It was quiet, peaceful, exactly what I needed. Sunday morning, I woke up and realized something. I hadn't thought about Mira in days. Not obsessively, not anxiously, not even casually. She was just gone. A chapter that had closed. I sat on the balcony with my coffee and thought about the past 2 months. The lies, the evidence, the confrontation, the restraining order. It had been brutal, exhausting, overwhelming, but I'd survived it. And more than that, I'd learned something. I'd learned that the truth, when documented and presented calmly, is more powerful than any narrative someone tries to spin. I'd learned that staying calm under pressure isn't just a work skill, it's a life skill. I'd learned that you can love someone and still hold them accountable. And I'd learned that moving on doesn't mean forgetting. It just means not letting the past control your future. Sunday afternoon, I got a call from Dr. Singh. Mr. Vale, I hope I'm not bothering you. Not at all. What's up? I wanted to reach out personally one more time. The clinic has fully closed the matter involving Ms. Caldwell and Mr. Ashford. All records have been sealed. I wanted to thank you again for bringing the issue to our attention. Your professionalism throughout this process was exemplary. I appreciate that, Dr. Singh. I also wanted to let you know, if you ever need a reference, a letter of recommendation, anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. You handled a difficult situation with integrity. That speaks volumes. Thank you. That means a lot. Take care, Mr. Vale. You too? I hung up and smiled. It was really over. Officially, completely, permanently. Sunday evening, Lauren came over. We made dinner together, ate on the balcony, and watched the sunset. You seem happy, she said. I am. Good. I like seeing you happy. I like being happy. She laughed and kissed me. We stayed on the balcony until the stars came out, just talking, holding each other, being present. When she left that night, I stood at the door for a minute after she was gone, just breathing, just feeling. I walked back inside, locked the door, and sat on the couch. Pulled out my phone, opened the Notes app one last time, scrolled to the bottom of the documentation file, added one final entry. Day 56. Life is back to normal. Work is good. Health is good. Dating someone who makes me happy. No contact from Mira in 3 weeks. Restraining order still in place, but unnecessary. She's moved on. So have I. This chapter is closed. Time to live. I saved it, closed the app, and set my phone down. Then I stood up, walked to the desk, and pulled out the external hard drive, the one with all the evidence, all the documentation, everything I'd collected over those 6 brutal weeks. I held it in my hand for a moment. This little device held the entire story. Every email, every receipt, every screenshot, every lie, every truth. I walked to the closet, opened a box in the back, and placed the hard drive inside. Closed the box. Pushed it to the back of the shelf. I didn't need it anymore, but I'd keep it, just in case. Then I walked back to the living room, sat on the couch, and looked around. The apartment was quiet, peaceful, mine. I picked up my phone and texted Lauren. "Thanks for tonight. Can't wait to see you again." She replied immediately. "Me too. Sweet dreams, Ethan." I smiled and set my phone down. For the first time in 2 months, I felt whole. Not broken, not scarred, not damaged, just whole. I'd been through hell. I'd documented every step. I'd stayed calm. I'd let the truth do the work. And I'd come out the other side, stronger, wiser, free. I leaned back on the couch, closed my eyes, and breathed. The past was behind me. The future was ahead, and I was ready for it. The nightmare was over, and life, real life, was just beginning. 6 months later, I was sitting in my apartment on a Saturday morning when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost let it go to voicemail. Old habits die hard. But something made me answer. "Hello? Ethan, this is Marissa. I'm sorry to call out of the blue." I sat up straighter. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah, everything's fine. I wanted to let you know something. Mira got engaged." I was quiet for a moment, processing. "Okay. She met someone in her new city, a teacher. She seems genuinely happy. I wanted you to hear it from me instead of seeing it on social media or something." "I appreciate that, and I'm glad she's doing well." "Really?" Marissa sounded surprised. "Really. I never wanted her to suffer forever. I just wanted her to leave me alone and get help." Sounds like she did both. "She did. She's been in therapy for months. She's working at a different clinic. She's different. Better." "Good." Marissa hesitated. "She asked me to tell you something. She knows she can't contact you because of the restraining order, but she wanted you to know she's sorry, for everything. She said she was in a dark place and she handled it terribly, and she's sorry for the pain she caused you." I looked out the window at the city below. "Tell her I accept her apology, and tell her I hope she has a good life." "I will. Thank you, Ethan, for being gracious about this. We all deserve a second chance to get it right." After we hung up, I sat there for a few minutes. I felt nothing but peace, no anger, no bitterness, no regret, just closure. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find Lauren standing there with coffee and bagels. "Surprise breakfast," she said, kissing me. Perfect timing. We ate on the balcony. I told her about Marissa's call. "How do you feel about that?" Lauren asked. "Good, actually. I'm glad she's moving forward. We both are." Lauren smiled. "You're a better person than most people would be." "I don't know about that. I just don't want to carry that weight anymore. She made mistakes. I documented them. The system worked. Now we both get to move on." "Speaking of moving on," Lauren said, setting down her coffee, "I got offered a position at the new trauma center across town. Better pay, better hours. I'm thinking of taking it." "That's great. You should definitely take it." "It would mean we'd be working at different hospitals. We wouldn't see each other during shifts anymore." "We'd figure it out," I said. "We already do pretty well outside of work." She smiled. "Yeah, we do." We finished breakfast, and she helped me clean up. As we were washing dishes, she said, "I'm really proud of you, you know." "For what?" "For how you handled everything, for not letting it break you, for being able to hear that your ex is engaged and genuinely be happy for her. That takes strength." "Or therapy," I said, smiling. "That too. Are you still going?" "Once a month. Just check-ins now, making sure I'm processing things in a healthy way." "Good. Keep doing that." Later that afternoon, I met Kyle at the gym. We'd started working out together on weekends. His idea, but I'd grown to like the routine. Between sets, he asked, "You hear about Thompson?" "What about him?" "He's retiring, after 30 years. They're throwing him a party next month." "Damn, end of an era." "Yeah, Harris asked if you'd say something at the party. You know, from the younger generation of paramedics." "Me? Why me?" "Because you're solid, man. Everyone respects you. You do good work. You stay calm. You don't create drama. You're exactly the kind of medic Thompson would want representing the future." I thought about it. "Yeah, okay, I'll do it." "Good. It'll mean a lot to him." That evening, I had dinner with Jenna. She'd invited me over to meet her new boyfriend, a corporate attorney named Marcus, who seemed genuinely nice and appropriately intimidated by Jenna's intelligence. After dinner, Jenna and I stepped out onto her balcony while Marcus cleaned up. "You seem really good," she said. "I am really good." "Lauren?" "Yeah, and work, and just, life. I feel like myself again. Better than myself, actually." "Better how?" "I don't know. More confident, maybe. I know I can handle hard things now. I know I can stay calm when everything's falling apart. I know I can trust my judgment. Jenna smiled. Those are good lessons to learn, even if the tuition was expensive. Yeah. You know what I'm most proud of? What? That you didn't become bitter. You could have. You had every right to, but you chose to move forward instead of staying stuck in anger. I had good help. You did the work, Ethan. I just kept you organized. When I got home that night, I found myself standing in front of the closet. I opened it, pulled out the box from the back shelf, and lifted out the external hard drive. I held it in my hand, this small device containing an entire chapter of my life. All the evidence, all the documentation, all the proof. I didn't need it anymore. The restraining order was still in place for another 6 months, but Mira was in another state, engaged, moving forward. She wasn't coming back. I could delete it, wipe it clean, erase the entire thing. But something stopped me. Not because I was holding on to the past, but because I'd learned something valuable from the experience. I'd learned the power of documentation, the importance of staying calm, the strength that comes from letting the truth speak for itself. This hard drive was proof that I'd done that I'd handled something terrible with integrity. I didn't need to look at it, but I also didn't need to destroy it. I put it back in the box, closed the box, and returned it to the shelf. Then I closed the closet door and walked away. Sunday morning, Lauren stayed over for the first time. We made breakfast together, drank coffee on the balcony, and read the paper like an old married couple. "This is nice," she said. "Yeah, it is." "Think you could get used to this?" "I think I already am." She smiled and leaned against me. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the city wake up. My phone buzzed. Text from Captain Harris. "Thompson's party is the 15th. You're on the schedule to speak. 5 minutes, keep it heartfelt. He earned it." I replied, "Got it. I'll make it good." I set my phone down and looked at Lauren. "Want to go to a retirement party with me next month?" "Whose?" "One of the senior paramedics, 30 years of service." "I'd love to." "Good. It'll be boring speeches and cheap cake." "Sounds perfect." We stayed on the balcony until noon, just being together. No drama, no crisis, no documentation needed, just life. Normal, beautiful, simple life. And as I sat there with Lauren beside me, the sun warming my face, I realized something. I'd spent 6 weeks documenting the end of a relationship, collecting evidence, building a case, protecting myself, and it had worked. I'd survived. I'd won in the only way that mattered, by preserving my integrity and my peace of mind. But the real victory wasn't the restraining order or the vindication or the proof that I'd been right. The real victory was sitting here now, 6 months later, feeling genuinely happy, not just relieved that the nightmare was over, but actually excited about the future. I'd been through hell. I'd documented every step, and I'd come out the other side better than I went in. That was worth everything. Lauren squeezed my hand. "What are you thinking about?" "How lucky I am." "Yeah?" "Yeah." She kissed me. "Me too." And sitting there, in the quiet morning sun, I finally let go of the last piece of the past. I was home. I was happy. I was free. And I was exactly where I was supposed to be.